back.
Oh, we're back.
The Sleepless Pod.
Yeah, back. We are back for episode 3.
Yeah, this probably will be episode 3.
Maybe. I mean, in post it could get to 4.
Yeah.
But I think today's theme in honor is probably something that not everyone knows how to do, is getting gigs.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about getting gigs. I guess how we started off, getting gigs as DJs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes two ways. We can kind of see through this. We could either go back in our, early college days, how we got gigs, or, you kind of took some time off and then came back into it again, and then talking about getting gigs also then in your, 30s.
Also coming to a new city as well.
New city, yeah.
Where I didn't really know many people, as many people in the scene and stuff like that.
That's what I was trying to get to as well. It's like, you've got two ways in my mind of doing it. One is you have a big network of people and you kind of can do your own thing, like throw your own events like we did in college, and you kind of build your own name from that. But that's because everyone's going out at that age. Yeah. Or you kind of go at it a different way through, I suppose, networking on a smaller level and just trying to get in gradual.
Yeah. Well, let's start back there. You mentioned like college and stuff, and I guess that would have been where, both of us really started gigging a lot.
Yeah.
As DJs. Yeah. When you started off, what was your process of getting gigs?
Well, honestly, if it wasn't for college, so first of all, before that, I wasn't gigging per se, but I was getting involved in the nightlight stuff with a forward plan to maybe get into it. So
right, like promoting, and stuff like that,
and shout out to Bedlam. They're still going. They run Boxed Off, and I think they have a couple of them involved.
They're involved in Live Festival.
Live Festival. With Annie Mac as well at Lost and Found in Malta, I think.
Yeah, but I remember going to one of their first things in Grand Social, and then you had to see them take off. Oh, and then they
Johnny and Brian were the two.
That's right.
Yeah,
and then they started doing gigs in. Do you remember District 8?
District 8, yeah, they started doing that. They had also the old Law Society Toast. That's where I cut my teeth, and they were two great lads. And then I also worked with Abstract as well.
Right.
And again, by doing that, I got to know a lot of people, got to see how it runs. How the doors work, how the money works, like how you should let in a certain amount of people for free so you get a good capacity. Who are you letting in for free? Stuff like that. And you kind of build and start to know people. So then I was almost primed when we kind of got involved with the DJing society in Trinity College when we were both in college to do that, right? So it meant that when we needed to go to a nightclub or be involved or push our members for things, I had that kind of idea of how to do it. That's certainly how I think I went about it.
Yeah. Then I think, again, I think unfortunately a lot of it comes back to who you know, kind of, because I was going to say, that when I first started off, started DJing when I was around 16, but then once I got to college, started actively looking for gigs. And I kind of got my first couple, through people who were hosting certain events, and then as Robin was saying, then going to other events as well. You sort of meet people who are promoting and hosting these events, and then you try and give them your mixes or songs or something like that, and then eventually you get offered another gig, and then you slowly build up a nice.
I think a big thing, and I saw this time and again, like you could do a mix and send it to somebody and they're willing to take the punt on you, but you gotta know your place at that time as well. I saw time and again people who were warming up and playing like absolute bangers and at like a completely different wavelength to what they should be doing. And that just stymies them so far back. You've gotta understand that although you might have skills way beyond anyone because you practice at home every day, doesn't give you the right yet to be the main act.
Yeah, and that brings up another interesting topic, the art of the opening DJ,
Yeah.
right? Because, well, this leads us then, I have a gig tomorrow actually,
Yep.
and I'll be opening tomorrow. So yeah, but my mindset when I'm putting my set list together for that is, yeah, it's probably a bit different than it would be if I was going on at like a prime time slot or something like that. As you said, you don't want to be playing all the bangers, or you don't want to be going, you don't want to set the energy too fast right at the beginning. You want to
Mm.
sort of ease. You know, you're the starter. If you think of it like a 3-course meal, you know, you're sort of, you're easing everyone into the vibe. You know, you're setting the tone for the night really, but you're sort of bringing people into it easy. So yeah, when I'm approaching my set list for tomorrow now, yeah, I sort of keep that in mind. I don't want to overkill it, but I want to give people a flavor of, you know, my style of mixing and DJing, but I don't want to like overshoot people who are playing after me, because it's not entirely fair. You know, you want to sort of
No, I agree.
build up the night to a like a climax.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose not many people listen to albums anymore, which is actually a whole other thing in itself. But like that's what an album used to be. You know, it's a journey from start to end.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Taylor Swift might have told Spotify that they can't shuffle her album.
Oh, really?
Something like that. I think I heard a rumor. Some artist basically said to Spotify, "I'm not going to do
No
that."
shuffle, please.
Yeah, but yeah, as you said, that's another area, right, in getting gigs is knowing where you are, what time, and then also, especially when you're beginning, you know, sometimes it's just about, it's like your CV, right? It's getting
Yeah.
enough names that people trust you to be able to do the job. So like at the beginning, you know, we talked last part about not trying to sell out your kind of art.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're a fresh beginner and unknown, you might have to do that 21st. You
Mm.
might have to play those hits
Yeah.
at the very beginning. I think you've got to take your opportunities as they come, but don't like realize at a point in time, okay, I've now done that. I know that I can do that, and then you can start going into your thing. It's you got to get your foot into the door before.
Yeah. Another thing is, I remember, yeah, when I was first looking for gigs and stuff back then, and you're probably the same. The only time you could really practice on like club setting equipment or anything like that was at an actual gig. So that was another reason to get gigs, was to actually practice. Unfortunately, you had to practice like,
Shout out Sleepless
yeah,
Studios.
that and that leads me into us now here at Sleepless Studios. Like you, we hopefully, yeah, we give you an opportunity now to practice. Like we have all the equipment here if you need to practice, instead of being like, oh, the only time I can actually practice on proper equipment is at a gig.
And that would be sweaty palms time as well, because you'd
Yeah,
be either
sweating.
you would literally
Don't
be
really
like,
know the
yeah,
equipment.
yeah, and you'd be like, oh god, I've got to pull this out of the bag to
Yeah.
get my next gig.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, again, we'll put a whole podcast into, I think, Sleepless Studios. Hence why we were saying maybe this is
Mm.
episode 3 or 4. But I think the real important thing, yeah, is trying to get out and practice. You're dead right there.
Yeah, and now you have an opportunity right here at Sleepless. Like we have 3 DJ rooms.
Varying in
Yeah.
you know, price and complexity.
Yeah, yeah. So we have that room with that club
'Cause
level
that's a
setup.
That's a question you would get
Yeah,
sometimes.
It's
Like, do you know how to use this equipment? And then the promoter would almost be looking over your shoulder, being like,
Yeah.
does this guy know what he's doing?
yeah, yeah. So I remember having a couple when I was first starting off. Like, yeah, like the first time I saw like proper CDJs was a gig, and I was just there like, okay, I've watched a couple of videos. Here we go. You know.
Yeah.
You know, just, but yeah, like, so we have everything here now, and hopefully getting into it now is easier or getting, instead of needing to practice on a gig itself, you can practice before a gig here, and then you're ready for launch.
Yeah. And I mean, I would love if we could get down the ways and we build enough community that, you know, we have a brand name to be able to push people forward.
Yeah.
But again, that could be like phase 4 in the Marvel plan.
One
um,
step at a time. Yeah.
yeah, so we it's funny because you look at us in college and we actually kind of rode that journey. Like I was lucky enough to play some festivals, Trinity Ball, some, you was yourself you played festivals as well, did you not?
Yeah, I played one festival. Then, well, I had like I got to a point where I got like a weekly gig. Like I had a
Yeah.
gig every Saturday. Then I might have been doing an event for another promoter like every other week. So yeah, there was a year or two in college where I was like busy.
Were you there for the Berlin residency those days until you DJ, or is that?
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Oh, those were great
Those are great
nights.
gigs. So for context, it was this. I'd say it fit 50 people,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
Like
this was
normally, the
the
original
original
Berlin in
Yeah.
Dublin. It was like right beside where at the end there where Pygmalion is now. I think it's a whiskey store now.
Oh yeah.
And literally, it would probably fit 50 because they used to do the long tables like the Berlin style. But then they let us throw on a Wednesday night a gig there, and they were great, intimate. People we used to do themes. You would have different themes, and we'd get people down, and it was paid as well.
Yeah.
Which was huge.
Which is great, especially because for a bit more context, we ran this night through our DJing society in university where we went to, and this night, shout out to Berlin. Yeah, they gave a lot. We were able to like give some up and coming DJs through our society like an opportunity to play at a venue, which
Yeah.
was really cool.
And I mean, that's another way. If you're lucky enough to go to college, I always advise people get involved. Find that society that is either a radio slot or if you have a digital art society or a DJing society, like
Yeah.
get involved there. Like I think when me and you had the reins, you were chair one year, and then I took the year after chair. We brought that from like nothing in the bank to, I think by the time we left, there was like 15K in the bank.
Yeah, well, in terms of members as well, like from before, like because as you said, I was chairperson for a year, and before that, it was relatively small niche society within Trinity, and then I took the reins, and we took it up a level, grew the membership. We were doing a lot more events, giving a lot more opportunities to people, and then you took it over again, and it just grew another level again. So it was like
to the point. Then it was handed over to I think Max Waterstone, and Patrick
Mm.
Topping did a gig in the Pav.
oh, I don't remember. I don't
Yeah,
remember hearing
yeah.
about
So
that.
it was you were gone a year.
Yeah,
Max Waterstone, shout out Max Waterstone. Basically like met him or something, and then just flat out was like, "Hey, will you come to our local?" Context again for anyone that's not in Ireland. Trinity College Dublin is where we went to, and there's this student bar on the cricket pitches. Very Protestant, I know, cricket, but he just set up decks there, and there's videos, you can see it online, and the whole of the cricket pitches are just filled because he did this impromptu gig.
wow, that's cool.
It was very
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, speaking of the PAV, we also ran some
Pav Fridays.
some cool gigs at the PAV as
Some
well.
hilarious ones. That's where Chinese pizza became.
That is
Yeah.
Shout out Chinese pizza.
But yeah, so I mean, and again, this is one thing that I was going to go back to. I think I mentioned this in, I don't think it was this pod. It was our Patreon pod. I mentioned that if Sleepless Studios works, maybe I can go again. But I made a decision that I couldn't keep gigging anymore because I felt like I needed to get a real life and do the 9 to 5, which I'm
Yeah.
still doing. And like I still enjoy it, but I'd love nothing more to get back into it.
Yeah.
But for you also took some time away, and kind of what brought you back to that?
Yeah, well, I guess what brought me back. Yeah, so I moved to Toronto like 5 years ago. Wasn't gigging when I first moved here. I guess it was really COVID, I guess. Once COVID came, I thought, oh, I might try this again. And then I started thinking about ideas for, like, I wanted to approach it differently this time. I wanted to think about like a whole like project or philosophy to a DJ persona or whatever. And then I stumbled upon my current DJ name is DJ on Eros. and the Oneirus were the Greek gods of dreams and nightmares. So I thought that was like a cool idea to do a DJ persona behind, and then that sort of like that idea also went into my label, which I created a year or two after I got back into DJing on Eris Records. So yeah, that was the start, COVID, and then yeah, once I started putting a few mixes out again, I thought, well, uh, I might want to do gigs again at some point, maybe. But how do I get like, I don't know anyone in the scene in the city like I would have in Dublin. How do I get a bit more notice? How do I do something that's different? I wasn't producing much tunes of my own at the time, mostly just DJing. And I thought, well, why don't I'll do mixes, but then I'll also put like a cool video montage or something together as well. And I'll put the video and mix on YouTube as well as on SoundCloud. And then I think, yeah, talking to some one or two promoters I've worked with in Toronto now, sometimes they mention like, oh, I saw those cool video montages you put together. So I think, yeah, it's well about knowing like who you know. I think doing something like cool or different that stands out is also like beneficial in like making that contact to get a gig.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to, early on, maybe in your 20s or whatever, um, you can try and, as we said, like just cut your teeth and do the things that you need to do. But I suppose as you get older and you already have that experience, right? So now it's about building your art.
Yeah.
Kind of what Jack was saying, right? Like in episode 2, you've kind of got to keep to your art form now, and hopefully that builds itself.
Yeah, no, it was definitely like, I feel like this time I was approaching it, with a lot more, I was thinking about the idea a lot more of like my DJ style and the whole persona in itself, it was definitely a bit more of a, maybe a wiser approach, after a bit of experience. But yeah, as you said, probably had the skills and stuff were still there, I guess, that you never lose them.
No, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a bit rusty at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
yeah, then you get back onto it.
So where do you see yourself? Like, where would the ideal place be for you now in the next year?
Oh, well, the gig I have tomorrow night would have been high up on my list. I'm playing the Comfort Zone here in Toronto, which is like one of the big, long-standing underground venues. You've had a lot of big names that have come through there, so yeah, that's definitely been top my list for a while. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I haven't done I'd probably also like to do like a proper warehouse style event here as well. I think that'd be cool.
What about what's that one in Montreal where we went to?
Oh, Stereo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would love to do that, but I think that's
5 year.
Maybe, or you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Don't sell yourself
watch
short.
Watch the space.
Yeah, watch the space. Yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing is highly commendable. I've looked from afar, and not just as a friend, but as somebody that's like watching you do this. It's impressive because you are building like a name, a brand. It's not just necessarily, oh, I'm a DJ, I can spin decks. It's, oh, this is actually my art, and I'm going at it like this way, and you're using your art to kind of get to know people rather than knowing people to just DJ in a way,
Yeah, no, I 100% I agree, I get that myself. I think about it as well. Like this time, like approaching it this time, it's way more about like honing my craft, like making my art stand out. And yeah, it's exciting. It's I'm really happy with where it's going, and just looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Well, it's like, did you ever hear this story of Eats Everything?
No.
So he, kind of similar story, right? Spent a few years in his 20s trying to get a gig, and so he was doing gigging. It was going okay, and then again he got the 9 to 5 job, and I think he was married, and I think he said it in an interview. But anyway, he said to his wife, "Look, I just can't do this 9 to 5 anymore.
Right.
I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm really gonna go at this, not in a mature manner." And that was really when he took off. It wasn't about the party. It wasn't about the ego. It was about, I mean, there is a bit of ego involved, obviously, but it wasn't as much about like just, oh, I'm a DJ. It was again, I want to do this as an out, kind of like an output of me, kind of a thing.
Right. It's something he felt like he had to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But yeah, like I think, just tying it all back, really. Again, this is, we want to talk about creativity and how, I hope that some of the stuff we've talked about in terms of getting gigs would help people. And if anyone has any questions, put them into the Q&A on the podcast, because we will answer them. But that's what Sleepless Studios is about, right? Where we touched on it. Hopefully people can come through the doors, practice, hone their art form, and be able to go to the places in Toronto and say, actually, yeah, I do know how to play on 3000s.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're all about like, by the community, for the community, So, hopefully we give people that are looking for that outlet to practice so they can one day get a gig. Have that opportunity.
Or even not have a gig.
Yeah, even if you just want to practice.
Because some people mightn't even want a gig, but they want to be able to use it. And as we touched on earlier, sometimes the only times you get to use that, you have to buy it yourself, spend like 10K, or you're enabled to come here and do it for $50 an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And put it out there.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be in a big club if that's not what you're into. But yeah, I mean, I think, that's probably the gist of what we're trying to do, really.
I think so, yeah.
Anything else? I'm going to say we should come back to this wheel thing, do it last wheel spin, a hot take.
The hot take wheel.
Yeah.
We'll spin at the end, yeah. Well, stand by, maybe in future episodes we'll have the roulette hot take wheel.
Yeah, and just one final plug. We are doing a Patreon, and just in case you're wondering what it's about, the longer format, more casual. We'll have friends in the pod on, more silly, light, more of an insight into maybe who we are, it's more something that's light, and the money that goes into it will go straight back into the community.
Yeah.
And it's all rated. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, we should make that known.
Yeah. And our opinions are not necessarily those of Sleepless Studios. But yeah. Should we wrap it up?
I think so, yeah. There we go. Another episode done.
Yeah. I mean, again, if anyone has any feedback or things they want to see, just shoot us a message at Sleepless Socials or at contact@sleeplessstudios.io.
Okay, great. Okay, until next time then, peace.
Peace. Sleep well.